Hi everybody, it's Alex Newton from K-lytics, today with the Kindle market trends for April 2018, so let's have a look. We received a really good question from a K-lytics member about seasonality in the book market. Now, to answer the question, I ran an analysis on a couple of categories over a period of 4 years where we had data. Now, let's have a look in one of the very big, the highest selling category on Kindle, the romance category. And here we look at the average sales rank of the top 100 Kindle bestsellers every month here, sampled over a couple of days every month and monitored over 4 years. And well, the seasonality is not really big in romance. I think the one thing you can observe is that here we have here January 2014, this is January 2016, then it goes here into January 2017, this was January 2018. So at the start of the year, right after Christmas, there seems to be a little bit of a slowdown in romance. But have a look here at the absolute level of the sales ranks. I mean, across the top 100, we're really talking about a minor fluctuation here between about 100 and 160. So, you know, it's not a big seasonality here overall. There are, however, other categories that have a clearly seasonal pattern. For example, take kids book, the children's ebook category. Now, here in 2014, there was this one effect here where Amazon, I think, introduced the KDP Kids Book Creator. So time's been flying. Was it that year? I don't even remember. Anyway, but you do see that there is obviously, and that's no surprise, a clear peak around here, the Christmas period, December, January. So it usually then shows here in the January report where the sales peak, and then there's a sort of lower peak always in summer, probably when, you know, the families go on vacation and the parents buy books to put onto the Kindle or iPad, you name it. Now, there are categories such as sports romance, a very strong category where you do have a bit of a seasonal thing here with, you know, peaks in summer. But the one point I want to stress is that look at here the overall 4-year trend that you see in this category, which has been continuously going up if you put a trend line into it. And my conclusion was, by looking at some of these categories, trend tends to be more important than seasonality as a factor. So speaking of trends, let's have a look at some of them that we just spotted here. So going into the Kindle bestseller lists on Amazon, one which is interesting here, which I just discovered, was in literature and fiction. There is a subcategory for women's fiction, a very strong mainstream category, but then within that, Christian literature. So we are talking Christian women's fiction, so usually also a bit of cross-section with inspirational romance or inspirational women's fiction in general. Now, having a closer look, 2 observations. The bestseller list seems to be very much dominated by the books by Christine Hanna. There are a whole range of these books. Second observation is you do find quite a bit of clean and wholesome romance, real Christian romance in there. And it's also a category that is not swamped as yet with a typical, you know, bare-chested romance title that you find in so many categories these days. You will have to have a closer look, a bit more scrutiny on which books truly have Christian content, but you get the idea. It's one of the few romance bestseller lists which is not swamped with, you know, more erotica type of books. And the other factor is, if we plot this on our K-lytics strategy map, the further you go to the right, the more competitive the category, the higher you go, the higher the average, the better the average sales rank, the higher the sales, that is. So you see here, this women's Christian fiction is here in our green zone of the hot niches. There are just about 2,000 English-speaking titles in it, so it's still a very small category. And as you see here, the sales rank is pretty high across the top 20 in the category, monitored over a period of time. So while we talk about romance, there's another one, literature and fiction, literary fiction, and there's a subcategory called romance. And also you see here a very strong trend performance over the last 18 months. And also here, the observation is that you find literary fiction, romance. There are a couple of books that don't fit. I mean, obviously here, 1984, George Orwell. But you see here, it's one of those few romance categories where you don't have, you know, all over the place these type of covers with the bare-chested guy. Of course, there's always the occasional exception where a person puts the book in here, but overall you see this literary romance fiction category seems to be still pretty much in order. And as I said, it's been performing very well. Now, unlike the previous one, this is more mainstream. The sales are even higher, but so is the competition. But if we do look at the competition, it is mainstream. And in our database here, it was in that month category ID 1343, and it has still less than 20,000 titles, but approximately 15,000 titles in the category. So talking romance in relative terms, it's still a pretty small category. All right, so not so much focus of this month's update is the nonfiction here, the blue line, which tends to be weaker and more volatile than literature and fiction on Kindle. But one which you want to have a look at, especially as we're approaching summer, is health, fitness, and dieting. Although search interest on Google for health, fitness, dieting is usually after the new year, it's going down, and then there's a second peak always towards summer. So also here on Kindle, you see the interest is going up. And even if you're not writing health, fitness, and dieting, we have really good insights in our special report. So please do have a look. It's a very good report with a special 10-year trend analysis on diet trends. So for the members, you do find it in the members area in the custom research tab. In the K-lytics members area, you know, go here to custom research. I know I should rename it genre reports, but originally these reports were called custom research because they were custom made for the members. And when you go into the custom research area, it's actually sorted by fiction, and then when you go down quite a bit down here, there's a nonfiction section, and there you find the reports on health, fitness, dieting, business, money, self-help, etc. So much for today. If you're not a K-lytics member yet, or need to upgrade your membership or renew the membership, come see us at K-lytics.com. That's K-lytics.com. This is Alex Newton from K-lytics, ebook market intelligence for success.